Good afternoon. Welcome to the beer auction. And hello to all my fabulous listeners out there in DJ land. In our studio, there's a young lady is in a fight to try to eradicate hunger. But today, we're here talking about an event that they're hosting. I guess I could tell you, people out there, it actually, it kind of grabbed me to put a donation up on my own just to try to win a beer. I figured, hey, it is another holidays are coming. I know a couple of little kids who like teddy bears and stuffed animals and helicopters and things, and so I had them in mind. So after visiting the site, I reached out to speak with the founder and CEO. I want to introduce to you the chairman, founder, Miss Angela Gray from R.I.C Market. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. So tell us a little about this event that you got going on here today.
Okay. So as you said, this is our second annual cancer support auction. We actually, the first one, it kind of started thanks to my daughter who wanted to do something in honor of her grandmother who had passed away from breast and lung cancer. And so she had crocheted 5 hats. And so unfortunately, due to restrictions of COVID, she wasn't able to distribute them. And so we decided, especially since my mom was so instrumental in us starting R.I.C Market Foundation, which our goal is to open Charlotte's first full-service nonprofit grocery store. We believe that access to fresh, healthy food shouldn't be a luxury. And so we decided that we would auction the hats off and then give the proceeds to cancer patients or survivors to help them get fresh, healthy food. And so we're doing it again this year. We're not auctioning off hats this time, but we do have a site full of things that were created with love, handmade items, including Mr. Teddy Bear. And so if you purchase those items, we've chosen 11 recipients who will receive cash to buy food, as I said, as well as my daughter crocheted this time 11 lap gans, which are small blankets. And so we're really excited, and we hope that you will participate.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And you say you're not doing hats, but people, you got to go visit this site. I saw a bear that had on a hat that took me back to when I wore the hat. Just about basically, I can tell you. The bear is cold. So we got him. He's actually in the dressing room, and he'll be out a little later on in the show so that we can ask him a couple of questions and find out, what's it like on the other end. So, can you tell us about Dolores?
Sure. I could talk all day, but I'm going to be mindful of time. Dolores was originally from Mississippi, but she spent a great deal of time in Detroit, and she moved to actually Charlotte and stayed there. It seems like a lot longer than she was. She had such an impact here while she was in Charlotte.
Okay.
But she actually lived, she used to say she moved around a lot when she was younger. She's just one of those people, when you meet her, you fell in love with her. And she was so honest and authentic and had a heart to help. And so it was one of those things, everybody thought that they were her favorite because she had a gift for making you feel like you were the most important person ever. So
she sounds like a lovely person. I wish we'd have had a chance to meet her. But I guess we are meeting her through you, so thank you for that. So who thought they were her favorite? I mean, did she actually have a favorite? I mean, I know we got listeners out there, but somebody has to be like, it was me, and...
Well, it's funny because she just had me and my sister, and we used to argue all the time, and I would ask her sometimes, like, Mom, who's your favorite? And she would always say, I don't have favorites. So if you asked her, she would say she did not have favorites. But everybody, if you listen, would be like, "Oh, I'm her favorite niece. I'm her favorite cousin. I'm her favorite." It's just like I said, she just had a knack for making you feel really special.
Oh, well, I guess I should have asked the question that I figured I should have asked is who wasn't her favorite? Because you saying all this, it was like, wow. So who wasn't her favorite? That's it.
She probably would not have answered that question.
Well, we're glad we got you here to answer for her. So that's good. So how does she impact your life?
Oh wow, that's another thing I could spend all day talking about. But I think if I had to pick one thing that was really impactful, it was the fact that my mom was never wealthy, but she had a way of taking a little bit and stretching it, and so. People would always come to our house, and she loved to cook, and she would always cook. And if you had a favorite, she'd make it for you. She sewed, and so when I was a kid, I used to hate the fact that she sewed because I always wanted to go to the store. But I appreciate it so much now, the fact that I had custom made clothes, and I was in designer clothes long before I could afford a professional designer. She loved to garden. I think it's just so much. She was just such a great person and humble and helpful and caring. And I think that is one of the reasons why I started R.I.C because I wanted to further her legacy.
Okay, we got a question coming from Teddy Bear.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure why he's passing the question up. He's shaking his head that he doesn't want to speak on the mic, so I'll try to speak for him. I don't know why he's in my ear. He's in my ear, folks. He's in my ear. He says, tell me a fun fact about Dolores.
I think one thing that most people, because if you knew her later in life, my mom was very involved in church. We spent a lot of time in church, and my mom taught Sunday school for years. She did Vacation Bible School. She was director of Christian education. And so much of what people think of when they think of my mom is her religious side. But I think a fun fact is that when she was younger, she was the manager of a girl group.
Oh, wait. And folks, I wish you could see here. Teddy is tripping. So, what was this girl group called? Do you know?
I don't know. I probably would have to ask my sister or one of her closer friends. That was long before that was pre me. But looking back now, I think it's kind of hilarious when I think of my mom to see her going in there negotiating contracts and deals and getting paid for performers.
Well,
so,
well, folks, there you have it. You heard it from the horse's mouth of the horse. So there it is. Teddy, okay, you're gonna have to get on the mic and stop passing any questions over here. So Teddy is asking, what made you bring him alive?
I think, well, it was funny because when I finished Teddy, my first thought was I wanted to give him a bow tie and make him look really smart, and give him a really smart name. And then my husband said, hey, why don't you give him a hat? And so we found a really cute hat that was pretty quick. And so I made it. And that's how Teddy came to life. I think the hat really changed his persona.
Yeah. By the way that picture look, my next question would have been like, does he have a cane? Does he have to drive a Cadillac? I mean, where's the honeys at? So, he is a bear. I know he like honeybees. So that is I'm at a loss for words for that bear. That bear is something special. Does Teddy have any other friends here in the auction today, or is it just him?
Yeah, so we have a variety of bears, and my daughter did some bees, and we have an elephant. So it's quite a few stuffed animals in the auction, and they're all various sizes and prices, everything from $5 on up. And so, and they all have a cute little story tied to them. So I really would encourage everyone to go out to the website so that they can find out more about the stuffed animals.
Okay. And can you tell me that website for our listeners again?
Well, if you go to ricsmarket.org, and that's RICSMARKET.org, then on the front page, there's a link that will take you to get more information about the auction.
Okay. Folks, I believe Teddy is trying to start crap. He's handing me another question here. Teddy asks, who is Rick? Is that your husband's name?
So, very funny story. When we had a family meeting when we first decided to open the grocery store, that we wanted to start the nonprofit, and so we were throwing around different names, and Roots came up, but Roots is copyrighted and used in a million different things, and so I really thought like, wow, this, if we want to solve food insecurity and make sure that everybody has enough food to eat and it's healthy, you really you really have to get to the root of the problem. And so I was like, well, what if we call it Roots in the Community? And everybody was like, okay. And I was like, well, yeah, Rick's. And so, a couple of minutes later, we're all talking, and I'm like, yeah, Rick's Market. And I had said it probably 4 or 5 times. And my husband looks at me and says, and who is Rick? And so I'm like, Roots in the Community. Like, we all just agreed on this. So that's who Rick's is. So.
He sounds like a cool dude, that husband of yours. I would have had to ask that same question, like, who is Rick? I mean, like, where did that just come from? Because your name is Angela, so it's like, how did you get Rick from there? But, okay. So, on to you, Miss Angela. So, what is your next steps after this charity event you're doing now?
Well, we've been working for a while to get the grocery store open. 2 main challenges we've run into are a location. And so it's not just, finding a building, but it's also really finding a community, because just opening a store, and I think a lot of, for and not-for-profits have found out, the issue isn't just access. And so really you want a community that wants the store and is going to put in the work. The second thing is money. It takes a lot of capital to open a grocery store. And so we've been working to find the proper location as well as the funds. And so on the auction site, if you go to the donations, there is an opportunity for you to donate not just to the cancer support, but also to our organization.